cops shoot a 22-year-old person at a restaurant. Here it is.
Bro, what's going on? All right. Bro. Stop! Put down the gun! Go! 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 Put your hands on your head! Put your hands on your head! Put your hands on your head! Stop! 5-9 right away! 5-9 right away!
Then proceeds to seemingly empty the clip into this man. He was suffering a mental health issue. Put up the picture full mask. Nygil Cullins, during a mental health episode, is confronted and fatally shot by an Atlanta police officer. Per the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, 22-year-old Nygil Cullins' family has waited 2 years for the Atlanta Police Department to release the body cam footage of this fatal shooting inside a Buckhead restaurant that took place May 18th, 2022. Now, the recently released footage shows Cullins' final moments as he grappled with police and security. And the security guard. The footage released Monday shows Cullins at Fogo de Chao. This is the Brazilian steakhouse. On the night of May 18th. Moments before officers arrived on the scene, restaurant staff had placed 2 911 calls alleging Cullins was being unruly. His family have said he was having a mental health episode, which, by the way, is clearly documented, accused police of editing the video, an allegation they deny. His mother, Maya Cullins, said, quote, "Our response to it is we want justice. We're going to do everything that we can do to ensure that happens." Restaurant surveillance footage, also released by APD, shows Cullins arriving at the bar area of the restaurant before 7 p.m. and sitting there for about 45 minutes, scrolling on his phone, talking to other patrons. At one point, Cullins stood up, went behind the bar to grab a bottle of alcohol before returning to his seat at the bar and having a drink. When police arrived at the restaurant, they pushed Cullins to the ground. The video, slowed down by Atlanta police, includes a red circle highlighting the gun holstered in Cullins' pants. So he had a gun holstered inside of his pants. Once Cullins is on the ground, one of the officers pulled out a taser and told Cullins to put his hands behind his head before he fired the taser. The video shows. The APD spokesperson told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution the taser was deployed because Cullins had a weapon. The taser did not slow Cullins down. He stood up and rushed toward the exit of the restaurant, holding his gun. 2 other officers, including a security guard, then tackled him, the footage shows. With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. Well, it sounds like a gunshot is heard on the video, and the security guard who was on top of Cullins moved away before an APD officer opened fire on Cullins, shooting him multiple times while on the ground. Now, if you go back, and we're not able to show the full carnage of that, but it is available on social media. What you will see is the officer in what I can only describe as a gangster style shooting, decide to empty his clip in a person who's on the ground and posing no physical threat whatsoever to the officer or anybody else. He just decides to just put all the bullets in. Okay, there's more. A federal lawsuit filed by Cullins' family stated that Cullins suffered such pain from the taser that he tried to leave, but was tackled by a security guard. The security guard grabbed the gun, causing it to fire, striking the guard and resulting in police opening fire. The shooting pauses briefly before the officer shoots Cullins multiple times again. APD inserts another red circle to highlight Cullins' gun next to him, which he appeared to reach for before the second round of shots. However, that is their interpretation. You know why we won't know exactly what was going through his mind or his nervous system or the flinching of his arm? Because he's dead. He won't get the opportunity to face his accusers. He will not get the opportunity of due process that is constitutionally provided. So the police, they take the opportunity to go ahead and speak for him. It's a damn shame. At a Tuesday night press conference, the Georgia NAACP president, attorney Gerald Griggs, who happens to be a good friend of mine, I spoke to him earlier today, accused the APD of editing the footage to fit their narrative and to justify the shooting. Quote, "We respectfully ask for law enforcement to release their unedited version, not their editorialization. They already put their narrative out there. We argued their narrative is incorrect." He added, "He is in the middle of a mental health episode, but he is not violating the law," end quote. Attorney Leif Howard, who was representing the Cullins family, said the footage was edited with the goal of justifying the shooting. Quote, "The real truth is that the restaurant and the city of Atlanta failed Nygil Cullins, and editing a video won't be enough to hide this truth." I'm gonna tell you something. I know Gerald Griggs, attorney, president, NAACP, state of Georgia. These attorneys are not saying this to say it. They have something. They know something. They have either been told something or there's something more. But for them to say the video is edited, that video is edited. There's more. But an APD spokesperson said they released a full unedited version of the footage and simply slowed it down at parts for people to see what actually happened. Cullins' father, his name is Quentin. Quentin Cullins said his son, diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenia, was scared of law enforcement. Hours before the shooting, the family had actually already secured a bed at a mental health facility. Quentin watched the footage Monday night. He could not sleep. Quote, "That's all I keep seeing in my head," he said. "To see your son lifeless and arms dangling, that's not how you want to remember your son, his last moments, his last breath," he added, becoming emotional and shedding tears. In a previous interview, Maya Cullins, who works with mental health patients, said she knew what to do after she arrived at her son's downtown apartment and found he was delusional, not in the right frame of mind, and had a raspy voice. She secured a bed at a mental health facility and called 911. However, it took over 2 hours for paramedics and officers to arrive, and by then he was in the wind. He left. So what do we have? Now you have a policy dynamic. The mother knew exactly what was happening with her son. He was experiencing a severe mental health issue. She calls 911, makes an official report. She secures a bed in a mental health facility. It takes them over 2 hours to respond to the 911 call. He goes to a restaurant that he's familiar with. He knows some people there. If he goes to that restaurant, he's continuing to exhibit signs of mental health diagnosis, a mental health issue. Multiple patrons call the police. "This guy's acting weird. I don't know what's going on. Police need to get here." They come in, guns blazing. They kill him. You already had the 911 call that Mr. Cullins was experiencing a mental health episode. Why aren't the systems congruent to talk to each other? Why was there this security guard able to basically become deputized without anybody making him part of the police department or the emergency call? And why did the police officer decide, after Mr. Cullins was already down and of no threat, obviously, to anybody, why did he decide to basically empty his clip inside of this man? And why do you have noted attorneys saying that the video that was released is edited? It's a lot of questions here. All right, put up the flyer for the protest. I spoke with attorney Gerald Griggs earlier today, president of Georgia NAACP. They are having a protest for justice on June 14th on the sidewalk in front of 3101 Piedmont Road, Atlanta, Georgia. If you are able to be there, I highly encourage you to make it. Stand with this family, provide the political pressure that's necessary in order to get full justice here. All right, Yasmin, thoughts?
Yeah, if you need to subdue someone who you believe is armed, then isn't there a way to do that without killing that person? Isn't there a way to do that without shooting him multiple times in a row? Maybe they just weren't very good cops. And the idea that people who are under such acute stress, like, being shot at a restaurant or being told to get on the ground by cops while you're at a restaurant, the fact that these people who are under such kinds of stress, that they're at fault for not responding perfectly is so dangerous, and it's unacceptable as a justification for cops killing someone.
That's right. We will bring you updates, guaranteed to be updates and development in this story.